Seoul, South Korea, in a small semi-basement apartment. The Kim family gives their all to make do. Father Ki-taek, mother Chung-suk, girl Ki-young, and a child Ki-charm work collapsing pizza boxes for an astoundingly low compensation and battle to earn barely enough to get by. Because of this, they go as far as using their phones next to the bathroom window to steal Wi-Fi or keeping their windows open so that the poison smoke from the fumigator can enter the house and kill the bugs even if they inhale it. One night, they are visited by Min-hyuk, a companion of Ki-charm's that presents to them a researcher's stone from his granddad's assortment, intended to be an ornament for riches. Additionally, he offers Ki-woo a job opportunity, because Min-hyuk plans to travel. Soon, he wants Ki-woo to take over tutoring the extremely wealthy family's daughter. After serving in the military and taking the university entrance exam 4 times, Ki-woo knows a lot of English. Ki-young can simply counterfeit his papers to imagine he is a college understudy. Since she is great with configuration projects, and dislike his bosses will take a gander at them intently, the spouse is extremely moronic, so having Min-hyuk's suggestion ought to be sufficient. Ki-woo goes to the Park family's house in the posh part of the city in his finest attire and holds the fake document. He is interviewed by Choi Young-gyo, also referred to as Mrs. Park, after the housekeeper Guk Moon-gwang allows him entry. Similarly as anticipated, she scarcely takes a gander at the desk work and trusts Min-hyuk's statement, yet she needs to endure the primary illustration to check Ki-charm is a decent, legitimate man. Ki-charm will show the girl Dae, who gets going as extremely timid and gets surprised when Ki-charm unexpectedly snatches her wrist, yet since it is just a signal to comfort her when she is making some intense memories understanding the activity, she rapidly mellows to him. Mrs. Park is content with what she has seen, so she chooses to enlist Ki-charm and compensate him fairly. He also gets to meet her son, Da-song, who has joined the Scouts and is obsessed with playing Indians after the first class. Ki-charm used to be a Scout as well, so he shows understanding, and Ki-charm gets a thought when Mrs. Park shows him her child's drawings. When Mrs. Park mentions that she needs a new art teacher because none of the previous ones lasted more than a month, Ki-woo suggests Jessica, a highly qualified art therapist, to her. He starts talking about Da-song's art as if it were truly a masterpiece. In truth, he is discussing his sister, who likewise makes an appearance the following day for a meeting while at the same time professing to be this Jessica's instructor after having perused a few stuff about workmanship treatment and brain science on the web. While Mrs. Park converses with her, Ki-charm coaches Dae, who is envious of Ki-charm being companions with the craftsmanship instructor. After reassuring her that he has no interest in her, Ki-woo and she kiss. Returning to Ki-young, she persuades Mrs. Park to allow her to teach Da-song his first lesson by herself. At the conclusion of the lesson, she impresses Mrs. Park by demonstrating how well-behaved her son is now. In Da-song's paintings, she also mentions an incident he went through in first grade and shows Mrs. Park signs of trauma. Persuaded her child needs workmanship treatment, Mrs. Park employs Ki-young under amazing compensation. Soon thereafter, she likewise meets the family father Park Dong-ik, who offers his escort Yoon to drive her home. She asks Yoon to leave her at the train station because she is meeting someone, but Yoon wants to keep the lie going by pretending that she lives in a poor neighborhood. Ki-young has an idea during that trip, so she takes out her pajamas to hide them in the car. While planning their next move, the Kim family starts eating better as a result of their children's new salaries. Until then, when Ki-young leaves after class, Mrs. Park takes the opportunity to inquire about the driver and asks her opinion. As a result, Ki-young tells Mrs. Park about how Yoon tried to take her home instead of the station. Park believes that Yoon has been taking lovers in the vehicle, possibly with drugs. Ki-young swoops in after Mrs. Park makes the decision to fire Yoon in order to avoid starting a scandal. He says that a mature employee is more trustworthy before recommending the old driver for her uncle. Naturally, it turns out that this man is Ki-taek, who used to be a chauffeur when he was younger. He goes for a test drive with Mr. Park, who is intrigued by his great habits and his huge information on the city that needn't bother with GPS to arrive at his area. His driving is so smooth, Mr. Park doesn't spill his beverage when the vehicle turns, so he enlists him on the spot. The last piece of the arrangement is the most troublesome one. Moon-gwang has worked in that house ever since a previous family owned it, and she is a determined and cunning woman. Ki-charm gains from Dahai that peaches are illegal in the house since Moon-gwang is unfavorably susceptible, so he and Ki-young start tossing peach fluff at her when she isn't taking note. Moon-gwang ends up going to the specialist for an examination since she doesn't trust it to be sensitivities, and Ki-taek is there as well as a feature of the arrangement. He takes a selfie with Moon-gwang in the background, shows it to Mrs. Park, and then tells her that he overheard Moon-gwang saying that she has tuberculosis. At the house, when Moon-gwang starts hacking in view of their sensitivities, he places a ketchup on the tissues in the waste to make it seem as though she had hacked up blood. Embarrassed to have a wiped-out worker in the house, Mrs. Park makes Ki-taek guarantee he won't educate her better half, then, at that point, fires Moon-gwang under some reason, telling Mr. Park she quit. Ki-taek gives Mr. Park permission to tell his wife that he got the idea and gives him the card of a prestigious agency that he almost worked for when Mr. Park starts to worry about the lack of cooking and cleaning in the house. Despite the fact that this organization provides families with dependable employees, the Kim's ruse continues. The telephone on the card is a second number Ki-young got for this, and when Mrs. Park calls, she professes to a secretary request loads of true desk work. At last, Chung-suk is employed as the new servant and the entire Kim family is in. They realize it's not the soap, but Do-sung notices that they all smell the same. It's the smell of their old modest loft. At some point, the Parks leave on a setting-up camp excursion and pass on Chung-suk to deal with the house, so when they're gone, the entire Kim family approaches stay for some time. They utilize every one of the rooms, eat all the food, drink the costly wines, and Ki-charm even takes Dahai's journal to peruse in light of the fact that he needs to propose to her when she gets into the college. The Kims spend their supper fantasizing about what wedding into a rich family would resemble while a tempest seethes outside when out of nowhere, somebody rings the doorbell. Moon-gwang is the one who says she was fired and left quickly because she forgot something in the basement. While her family stows away, Chung-suk gives her access, yet Moon-gwang is bringing excessively lengthy down there, so Chung-suk goes to see what is happening. She assists Moon-gwang as she moves a cupboard, revealing a door that leads to an underground bunker constructed by the architect and former homeowner. Oh goodness, Moon-gwang's husband has lived there for years, hiding from loan sharks. When the previous owner left and the house was waiting to be sold, Moon-gwang helped him move there. The Parks never learned about the bunker. Moon-gwang would go down there and sneak in some nourishment for him when the Parks were not looking, which makes sense of why Mr. Park thought she ate excessively. She came today since she realized the Parks would be gone, so she needed to converse with Chung-suk alone to request authorization for her significant other to in any case live down there, being willing to pay her for bringing him food. Chung-suk refuses to accept this and pulls out her phone to call the police. However, her family attempts to spy on them as they fall off the stairs at the same time. Moon-gwang snaps a quick video of them using her phone, catching them calling each other family names. Presently Moon-gwang and her better half have control of the circumstance, taking steps to let the parks of their ploy know if the Kims don't do as is commonly said. They all go upstairs, where Moon-gwang and Gun-se enjoy the house while the Kims are forced to crouch in a corner. Moon-gwang even calls them out for being pigs and making a wreck in the front room, since when she and her significant other utilized the house when the parks were gone, it would constantly be deferential of the engineer's cunning touch. The Kims seize the opportunity to wrestle the couple to the ground for the phone while she is giving them such a speech. While Ki-woo takes the phone to delete the recording, Ki-taek grabs Gun-se and Ki-young drops a bunch of peaches on Moon-gwang to knock her out. Out of nowhere, everybody freezes when they hear the house's telephone ring. Chung-suk gets hearing Mrs. Park requesting that she eat prepared on the grounds that they are returning prior since the tempest made it difficult to keep up a setting up camp trip and is stunned. When she hangs up, the whole family gets to work. Chung-suk starts cooking, Ki-taek takes Gun-se to the basement and ties him up, Ki-young hides the trash under the furniture, and Ki-woo returns the diary after taking Moon-gwang, who is unconscious, to the basement as well. Ki-woo hides under Da-hai's bed and Ki-young rolls under the table because the Parks will soon return. Moon-gwang awakens and attempts to get away, yet Chung-suk drives her back into the cellar, making her fall and hit her head. Ki-taek drags her unconscious body to where her husband is using a Morse code guide that he has pinned to the wall and is hitting his head against the light switches. Da-song is a scout, so he hopes to see his message one day. However, Ki-taek thinks it's ridiculous, so he ties Da-song to a pipe and leaves. Upstairs, Mrs. Song's dramatic Suk talked about Da-song's traumatic first-grade experience while they were having dinner. When the boy went into the kitchen to steal his birthday cake one night, he saw Gun-se, a ghost from the basement. He had convulsions and was extremely angry as a result, which is why he has been going to therapy ever since, and they never come over to celebrate his birthday. In the interim, Ki-charm is nearly tracked down under the bed by Da-hai, yet fortunately, she gets her canine and doesn't look further under the bed. After the recreation area couple goes to their room, Ki-charm and Ki-taek slip away into the parlor to track down Ki-young to leave. However, unexpectedly, Da-toon hollers and comes ground floor, so them three wind up concealing under the table. It turns out that Da-song wants to make a camp in the garden in the rain, so his parents let him, and they decided to sleep on the couch to watch him. The Kims must now pay attention to the Park's complaints about their smell and engage in flirtatious behavior. The Kims leave the house and run toward their neighborhood, which is getting flooded with sewer water, under the rain when the couple finally falls asleep. Their loft is overflowed too, so they recover however many possessions as they can prior to leaving to go through the night in a nearby exercise center that makes ways for destitute individuals have lost their homes to the tempest. Ki-charm has carried the researcher's stone with him, and he embraces it while he rests since he's upset to hear his father doesn't have the arrangement to manage the issue they left in the cellar. Back in the dugout, Moon-gwang bites the dust from the blackout she got before, and Gun-se attempts to send a Morse code message with the lights requesting help. Despite Da-song's efforts to decipher it, it is nonsense. Because Gun-se doesn't know how to spell, he only gets a bloody forehead. The next day, Mrs. Park chooses to arrange an unrehearsed party for Datoon's birthday, and the Kims should set up their best amicable faces in any event, when they're really feeling crushed in the wake of losing their home. Chung-suk should cook and set up the tables outside. Ki-taek should drive the guardians around to purchase all the party supplies while they continue to make faces at his smell, and the kin should set up their shrewd educator personas since they're welcomed to the party as vital visitors. Mr. Park and Ki-taek plan to put on a whole show at the party so that Dasun can save his cake, so they dress as Indians. Subsequent to investing some energy with Dahai, Ki-charm takes the researcher's stone and goes down to the storm cellar, where he's hopped on by Gun Sae, who some way or another has figured out how to free himself. Gun Sae uses the rock to knock Ki-woo out and prevent him from fleeing, then leaves the bunker, grabbing a knife from the kitchen to take Mr. Park with a knife after being enraged by such a despicable act, and then flees the scene. Weeks after the fact, Ki-charm awakens from a medical procedure. Because the injury and the procedure have put his mind in a fragile state, he can't help but laugh at everything that comes his way, discovering that his father is missing and that his sister has passed away, being arrested, being tried for fraud, and being released on probation due to the traumatic incident for which they are not charged. Because it was in self-defense, he possibly quits giggling when he sees the news report recording the now unfilled house, causing all that ended up feeling all the more genuine. Neither he nor his mom knows where his dad is. However, the investigators continue to tail them for some time, figuring they might take them to him. Ki-woo goes up the mountain to spy on the Park's house, which is now occupied by a German family that bought it because they didn't know its history. Months later, after the news finally moved on to other topics and the police no longer follow them, Ki-woo goes to the house. There, Ki-charm acknowledges somebody is utilizing the lights to communicate something specific in Morse code. It's his dad, who has been hiding in the bunker at the house all along. He has buried Moongwang in the backyard, and the only way he can stay alive is to break into the kitchen every night. He likewise sends the Morse messages consistently, trusting his child would see them one day. Ki-woo writes a letter to his father in his old apartment, which he still shares with his mother. In it, he promises to work hard and get enough money to one day buy the house and get back together with his father.